designers of today are now taking these new and emerging forms of digital art and platforms and finding new ways that we can work with them in really weird and experimental and dope new ways.
My name is Annika Hansteen-Izora. I use all gender pronouns, and I'm an art director, a designer, and a poet based in Brooklyn, New York. My design work is influenced by music. It's influenced by poetry, by Black feminist thought. It's from these spaces that has existed outside of institutionalized understandings of design that's really building a new way to look at things. Somewhere Good is a social media startup. It's built by people of color, for people of color, and essentially we're focused on connecting people of color to the things that they love, and through that, connecting with each other. And currently, I'm their creative director, and I'm working across brand design and UI design. I was born in Palo Alto. My grandparents, on my dad's side, total Black Panther, revolutionary artist movement. And it was interesting because where I was growing up in this really artistic scene, you also did have tech coming in at the same time. When I went to college, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a dual in sociology and psychology. Wasn't even thinking about design. But what ended up having the biggest impact on me in college was not my studies. It was the things I was doing on the side, the extracurriculars, everything else. I was totally immersed in the Portland art scene. I was doing poetry gigs and I was being in these communal art spaces. So that process was really about allowing myself to learn confidence and to learn the impact that my creative work can have. And so I just switched. I was just like, I'm gonna be a designer. I know how to use the basics of these tools. I can figure out the rest of it. And the first ways that I learned how to design were through replication, replicating music posters that I loved to a T. And that ended up moving into understanding my own design style and figuring out how to make my own work. To me, art and technology naturally flow into one another. And so as a creative director in design, I'm thinking about, okay, how can the screen actually bring a user a sense of joy? What are the ways that we can play with the screen, with the capabilities of a phone to bring that out? And I think a website can be a piece of art. What I really get hyped for is very maximalist, bold, colorful philosophy. And so I think about how to get things less curated and more embracing of that kind of chaos in a way. To me, that means addressing things from how do we talk about safety and harm online? What does it mean to design around that? What does it mean to design for a community? When I think of communal dreaming, I'm thinking about the practices that are allowing multiple people to come together to move against the norm. How can we see what is established as the norm and break it apart to make it something new? And I think websites provide that ability for people to connect to one another in new ways, to connect to communities that they may not know, to connect to knowledge they may not know, to worlds. There's an infinite possibilities in that realm, and that's just gonna end up resulting in a lot of amazing work.